A super thanks to begin today's mailbag from Hunter M. In my opinion, I think if the Cowboys don't reach the championship game at minimum, we need to get rid of McCarthy. What would be your ideal staff to bring in for his and others' replacements? If Big Mike goes, so does Dan Quinn. Might as well fully rebuild the staff. I think Dallas, if they dump McCarthy, would want to promote Dan Quinn and let Schottenheimer call plays, and that's not real change to me. You got the three-card stud or Monte, whatever it's called, and you just shuffle the three cards, and that's it. You said, we changed it. Did you really? I think real change would be nice. I look at a guy like Ben Johnson, who's going to have a ton of interest this year in the NFL coaching carousel. I think if you get to the NFC Championship game, he's definitely back. Short of that, we'll have the conversation. Now, this came in via Super Thanks. It's a feature on YouTube, Super Chats on live shows, Super Thanks on demand. You can donate outside of the live video style here. Click the thanks on icon because we appreciate your support here. We'll always give you a shout out if you super thanks or super chat. So grade McCarthy this year for me as the Cowboys head coach entering the postseason. A, B, C, D, or F. Go ahead and sound off, whether positively or negatively, in the comments. Sean Fripp, a super thanks. What's the best off-ball linebacker the Cowboys can draft in the late first round that can start next year? I think every single off-ball linebacker will be available for you in the late first round. I would also say there's a decent chance they're all available in the second round too. I don't think there's an off-ball linebacker worth taking late first round. You can't force a position. I'd like Jeremiah Trotter, but I don't like him in coverage. It's a huge thing for modern-day linebackers. I can find a thumper later on. I need the coverage ability. I like the A&M kid, but I don't think there's going to be a round one pick at off-ball linebacker. From Xavier Worthy, his burner. Ever since Frederick left, we haven't been the same running the ball. It doesn't seem that important, but having that vocal superstar in the middle of the line is more important than one would think. Center class is not great this year, although center from Oregon is solid. He means Jackson Powers Johnson. Graham Barton can play center as well. I think he's got left guard, center flexibility, which is exactly what Dallas needs, by the way, with their likely needs along the offensive line. Maybe just keep Smith at left guard, but I digress. West Virginia, I think Zach Frazier was having a great year and then broke his leg. Will bring down his draft stock. Very rarely do you find a superstar center prospect. That's not really how it tends to go. But I agree. I think center is underrated. You were never going to be able to get a new Frederick in year one. Biotis has been a good starter for his contract. I don't want to pay him $8 million and have fine play. I think drafting one makes a lot of sense for Dallas. Or if you're going cheaper veteran route and still drafting somebody. Multiple draft questions in today's mailbag via the Super Chats and Super Thanks. So who do you want to take in the 2024 NFL Draft? It's the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. From Adwin, all I feel for the playoffs is Dak has to go off. Mike has to be in his bag. Let CeeDee and Dak go crazy just like Stafford and Kupp, DC for life. You guys see what J-Ron Kerr said this week? Talk about the offense. 488. Give me hope, basically. Yeah, force feed Lamb, let Dak deal. That is your best path to winning games right now. If they go conservative shell, I'm going to be mad. From Lone Wolf, any chance that we get lucky and San Francisco loses in the divisional round? I think the best path to that happening is the Rams upsetting Detroit. Because remember, the Niners would not play the Lions. Niners, if the Lions win, Niners play Eagles or Tampa. Who here thinks that Tampa's or Philly's going to beat San Francisco right now? I certainly don't think so. So I think your best chance is Rams upsetting Detroit, and even then seems a bit unlikely. In all likelihood, if you want to make it to the Super Bowl, you got to go beat San Francisco in San Francisco, the thing you haven't been able to do in a very long time. From Danny Whitney, like the video, we need to beat the Packers. If you don't beat the Packers, you might need to fire Big Mike. Caden Pruitt, should we draft a right tackle or a linebacker in the first round? My answer is actually neither. I know Terrence Steele wasn't as good as needed this year. He's under contract. He's not going to go anywhere. He's still going to probably start for you next year. Your center and one of left tackle, left guard spots are much more up in the air. I would look for offensive linemen And again, I'm not drafting an off-ball linebacker in round 1. I don't think it's a very good use of investment anyway. There might be a good receiver for you. Day 2 and day 3, you can look towards your linebacker, running back needs and find good value and good players later on in the draft. Today's show is made possible by Game Time. If you are trying to go to the Cowboys playoff game, you got to use Game Time. Cowboys, Packers, they've got some flash deals available still for the game up to 10% off. You can see the view from your suite before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. You can turn on all-in prices so you can see the actual total up front. You can buy tickets in seconds with simply 2 taps. And they have deals that gets up to the start of events, even an hour after it starts. Don't show up late. By the way, white out. If you do go, make sure you're wearing whites for the Cowboys-Packers game. Download the Game Time app, create your account, and use code CowboysChat for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, but create your account, GameTime.co, and use promo code COWBOYSCHAT for $20 off. Download Game Time today for last-minute tickets, the lowest price guaranteed. From Nick, when the offseason comes and we lose Quinn, should we pursue Robert Saleh? Well, he's still going to be the Jets head coach, so no. Now, if Saleh became available, yes, I think there'd be a lot of teams in the market for him as defensive coordinator. The Jets are going to be like, we're going to roll it back this year and next year and say, let's see what happens with Rodgers is healthy. Brian Parson, if we lose to Green Bay, do you think Harbaugh is a possibility? I really have a tough time seeing Harbaugh and Jerry Jones working together well. Don't you? I think Harbaugh is going to jump to the NFL. I'd be a little surprised if it was Dallas. He's got some different connections and other jobs that are available. But possibility, yes. Likelihood, probably not. But if you lose to Green Bay, I think that's your Mike McCarthy might not be back scenario. Or at least your most likely one. Abja Pawar, will Mike McCarthy be aggressive in the postseason? He better be. I will be exceedingly upset if they go into this conservative shell. I'd be mad. Jamie Little, is Michael Gallup even playing? Let's see, not really. Oh, yes, but also no. He's been a part-time player for the Cowboys this year. Jalen Tolbert's going to do his snaps, and Tolbert's played better the past few weeks, by the way. Both guys are like option 4-ish for this Cowboys team right now, at best. So the numbers are simply not going to be very high. So is this Michael Gallup's last year in Dallas? Y for yes, N for no. Sound off for me in the comments section right now. From Marcus Arnold, no matter what, don't fire Mike. 12 wins is great. What happens, though, if Mike tries to establish the run nonstop against Green Bay and stops doing the motion and blows the game with some bad end-of-clock management scenarios and you lose by 3 in the wild card round? I think you have to have the conversation there. In the end, I think you're going to win. And outside of Marty Schottenheimer, you don't really fire coaches after that caliber of season. Lee Lilly, Jordan Love hasn't faced a rush this quick off the ball. We stopped the run, and it's a blowout. You're a 7.5-point favorite, I think, as of filming. That's a pretty damn big playoff spread. This game does have the potentiality to turn into a blowout if Dallas plays well early on. They kind of farted around for a quarter and a half-ish against the Commanders, and then, 31 points unanswered that could have easily been 34 or more. Good things tend to happen. Unitive, which idiot is better, Lamb or Dez? First off, Dez caught it. I will always love Dez. I think Lamb's better. And that's not even a slight at Dez. That's how good I think CeeDee Lamb is. Like, CeeDee Lamb has set records in every category, basically, this year for the Cowboys. Like, Dez had the All-Pro year in 2014. Outside of touchdowns, Lamb's got him beat already in yards and catches, all that stuff. So I remain a huge Dez fan. I think Lamb is already a better player. Different types, but a better player already. Daniel M., we have to find a way to keep Lamb, Mike, after the seasons they've had. What kind of contract would Lamb get with 5 years, $216 million guaranteed deal? Makes sense for Lamb. Well, you definitely have to do a fully guaranteed deal for Lamb. And frankly, we're way too high on the Lamb contract. That's $43.2 million. No. That's way higher than what it needs to be. If you are starting to approach, $30 million, I think at that point it starts to make some sense for CeeDee Lamb and those deals. Like you're not gonna have to worry about the $40 million number. Tyreek Hill makes 30. So if you're approaching 30, now you're in the ballpark for Lamb. You don't have to pay him that much money. And again, you have team control as well. It should get done this offseason, but it's not like you're going to lose them either. We will have more Cowboys coverage for you during the offseason, so make sure you are subscribed. Free Cowboys videos each and every single day. From Juan Ramos, what do you think about Braylon Allen? What round should Dallas draft him if they draft him? That's Braylon Allen out of Wisconsin. I think the possibility of bringing back Tony Pollard very, very cheaply and finding another cheap draft pick at some point, late day 2, early day 3, which is around where Allen should go, I do think is within the realm of possibilities for the Cowboys. And I like Allen. He's very different style player than Pollard, but I think it could make some sense. Probably 4th round makes the most sense for me. Not as good this year for Wisconsin. The offense changed pretty significantly, but yeah, I do think Allen could make some sense for Dallas. Rashard Lee, what would a Super Bowl mean for Dak? The haters are in shambles. He locks himself into, at minimum, the 3rd greatest quarterback in franchise history. He suddenly puts himself into Hall of Fame consideration because he'd be an MVP, runner-up most likely, and won a Super Bowl in the same year. Like, you're kind of in the inverse of the Matt Ryan season, who's going to be in the Hall of Fame conversation. It would mean everything for Dak Prescott in this franchise. And he gets a blank check on his next contract, too, which I think is a check we would all happily pay. David B. Dak is leading the league in passing touchdowns. I'm biased, of course, but how is he not winning MVP these kinds of numbers while winning the NFC East? It's a narrative-based award. And it flipped when the Ravens and Lamar Jackson blew out the 49ers and the Dolphins, 2 teams the Cowboys were unable to beat. That's when it changed. And I'll say this too. It's because he wasn't a first-round pick. They don't want to give him the award. How many non-first-round picks win MVP? It's Brady. That's kind of your list. It's not fair. That's how it tends to go. There's also people just don't like the Cowboys. People don't want to admit that Dak played great. Now, that mostly comes from other non-fans or the non-Cowboys fans, but that's how it went. And I'm fine giving it to Lamar. I'm not going to argue about that one, but he's going to be in the second-team All-Pro conversation. He's going to be. Austin Cook. Are Malik Jefferson and Lyle Collins going to be the practice squad call-ups? I don't know. Jefferson, I wouldn't be surprised by. I will make note, come postseason, you get unlimited call-ups for each player, still only 2 per week from your practice squad, and they reset. So calling up Red Wine didn't matter even though he didn't play. It's fine. Jefferson now has his numbers reset. You go 10 deep on the offensive line. For now, it might change. I'd be a little surprised if Collins was called up. I think he's more insurance for your insurance for the time being. So rate this Cowboys roster for me from 1 to 100. Sound off in the comment section right now. From Justin M., are there any running backs worth taking in round 1? I don't think so. There's no Bijan Robinson this year. There's no Jahmyr Gibbs this year. I'm unconvinced there's really going to be one worth taking in round 2. I'm not sure as a filming if Travion Henderson's going to go pro. Like, you look at some of these prospects, like, if Jonathan Brooks had been healthy, I think round 2 he would have had a lot of buzz, but he's not healthy. He might miss the entire year. What do you do with that guy? I like Blake Corum, but Blake Corum's not a top 50 pick. So, no, I don't think there's a back worth taking in the first round this year, which is fine because I don't want to spend that pick anyway. From Israel, Davala, what coach and coach would pick for me if we move on from McCarthy or Dan Quinn? I want a Shanahan-based coordinator. I think that offensive style, there is a reason. All the top coaches, all the top offenses, right? Rams, Niners, Lions to a lesser extent, not quite the same coaching tree there. Houston, they all have similar play styles. Now, Ben Johnson does a lot of fun motion stuff, which is a staple of the Niners Shanahan stuff, but it's not necessarily Shanahan actual coaching tree. But I look at Ben Johnson or a Shanahan tree in some capacity. Ecuador Man Energy, is Trey Benson too much like Pollard to draft? It's actually a great point. I definitely should have mentioned Benson earlier because when it's all said and done, he might be my number one back. He's bigger than Pollard. He's listed at like 220 something. Now, I didn't go for 1,000 yards, but whatever. He had a lighter workload there. Hasn't done as much in the passing game. Benson might be a top 60 pick. I'd kill for him in the third round. I think a Benson, Pollard, whatever pairing actually does make a lot of sense for Dallas.